I can call this meeting to order, please.
Thank you,
How about
Rebecca.
that? How about that?
Thank you. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Welcome everybody to the Wednesday, March 27th, 2024 meeting of the Calaveras County Water District. Would you all please rise and join me in the pledge? Draw your attention to the fact that the flag is over here. John Coleman pointed out to us, we've been doing this wrong since 1946.
How many do we have to redo?
All right. Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Everybody's.
I've always been just look at that.
Okay, doesn't it make you feel a lot better that we did it right? So it's amazing. Okay, would you please call the roll?
Director Underhill,
Here.
Director Ratterman,
Here.
Director Davidson, Director Cicada,
Here.
President Thomas.
I am here. Okay, moving on, item number 2, public comment. At this time, members of the public can address the board on any non-agendized item. The public is encouraged to work through staff to place items on the agenda for board consideration, and no action can be taken on matters not listed on the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have any public comment?
Glad I could be your one today. Good afternoon,
We are
Kelly
too.
Richards. What's it, 2?
I think we are also.
Okay. Kelly Richards, Business Services Manager for CCWD. I am actually here today to introduce some of our new employees in admin services. Please join me in welcoming Kylie Muterdes, our Accountant 1 in Finance, Michael Bear, our Accountant 2 in Finance, and Robin Patolo, our Customer Service Representative in Customer Service. All 3 of them bring a wealth of knowledge specific to their areas, and we couldn't be more happy and enthusiastic to have them here. So just wanted to introduce them to you, the board, and welcome them here to CCWD.
Well,
Thank you. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us or visiting us.
no, they promised that they would be here
Oh,
for at least 20 years,
Okay.
minimum.
Minimum, okay. All right, moving on to agenda item number 3.
We do have one other new staff member to announce, not in admin services, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And so speaking of the flag relocation, our new water resources manager is also here. So, and I think we've seen him at a couple of meetings now, but just wanted to make sure we recognize John Coleman as well.
Hey, John.
Yeah, welcome, John. Welcome.
Let's clap for everybody.
Yeah, for everybody, right. So yeah, building out, we've been talking about staffing shortages for quite a while now. We have the other water resources position will be filled shortly. We still have some other vacancies that we're working on, but it's great to see all these new folks here, and they're already up and running and making great contributions to the district. So
Well, I'm just so glad, the experience that they're bringing to CCWD. We've waited so long for you and you're just all really welcome.
How
Thank
many,
you.
or what departments have openings right now?
we're still recruiting an engineer. Those are very difficult to find these days. We've got the IT specialist position is still vacant. So that recruitment is ongoing. We have a couple of operations positions that are vacant, treatment plant operator, a mechanic position, and a couple of, 2 treatment plant
probably
operators.
be a good conversation for the general manager's comments instead of
That could be.
public.
Sure. But anyways, yes, we still have multiple vacancies we're working to fill, and we're working on those as fast as we can.
All right. It has been brought to my attention that item 3C is a letter of support that the county was requesting for public housing facility funding request has been called off of the request has been made that we remove it from our agenda today, so we only have two to consider. We have approval of the minutes of the February 14th and February 28th meetings and report on the monthly investment transactions. Do I hear a motion?
Move for acceptance.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. Please call the roll on this.
Director Underhill,
Yes.
Director Ratterman,
Yes.
Director Davidson,
Yes.
Director Cicada,
Yes.
President Thomas.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item 4, new business. We have 4A, discussion and action regarding transitioning to Streamline website services. There he is. Kelly, tell us all about this.
Good afternoon. So I'm really beyond excited to present what a positive impact Streamline would look like for CCWD. Streamline is the leading website platform for special districts throughout the state. Over the past couple of months, the PRT and members of IT, we've been meeting with Jacob and his team from Streamline, and they've given us some great presentations, and we've really looked into every angle of it. We as a group have been extremely impressed with what they have to offer and are convinced that this will greatly improve our website presence. Staff from human resources, IT, customer service, clerk to the board, engineering and operations and external affairs have all, without a doubt, vetted this and are confident with the benefits. And with great pleasure, I would like to introduce Jacob and his team from Streamline. I think they will be able to showcase this much better than I could, so I'm going to pass it off to Jacob and his team.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Well, thank you so much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here today. Like Kelly described, we've had pretty extensive conversations with a majority of the team over there. And I think we're just super excited about what we're going to be able to do for you all in terms of streamlining, no pun intended, a lot of what is happening with your web presence there. We are special district specific, and we're the only web platform that's actually built specifically for special districts. So we realize that just managing your web presence in general on websites is normally kind of difficult and limited to what you have the ability to do, all while completely staying within compliance. So before I go to all the details and kind of dive into what we do, I would love to introduce my director here at Streamline. This is Dalen.
We have no audio.
Looks like you're muted, Dalen.
That wasn't very impressive.
And time out.
Let me test that out. Is that better?
There we go.
It's not very impressive being a website company when you can't put on your mic the right way. Anyways, pleasure to meet you all. Very grateful for the opportunity to be able to present in front of your board. Thank you all. Like Jacob mentioned, my name is Dalen. I'm the director here at Streamline. And yeah, we're going to be able to go over a little bit more about us, but to be able to give you all kind of a summary about, our mission and who we are at Streamline is, we have one purpose, and that purpose is to empower special districts throughout the nation. We currently work with around 1,700 throughout the U.S., a majority of those being in California. I'm actually from Ripon, so I'm not too far away from Calaveras. Played Sonora High School and Calaveras High School in football, growing up. So super grateful to have the opportunity to be able to chat more with you all here today.
We're really off to a bad start now, I think.
Wow.
It's going from bad to worse.
Oh, no. But yeah, a lot of it, what we're going to highlight today is going to be based off of how we've helped special districts, mainly with compliance, community pro, and just overall operations. So yeah, we just streamlined a lot of some of the things that are required of districts to be posting online, as well as engaging their community with some of our tools. And yeah, just being able to communicate back and forth in a very operational way. So exciting stuff to go over here today, and I'll let Jacob take the floor.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Dalen. So I'll go ahead and share my screen right quick for us here. And Let me know if y'all can see that there.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it kicked me out, didn't it? Let's try again. How about that? So, can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, here at Streamline, like Dalen said, we're really just focused on putting the power back in the district's hands to be able to manage everything that's happening with their web presence, along with consolidating everything that you might be using for managing compliance, for engaging with the community. A big thing that we take a look at is re-centralizing the website as the main hub for all district information, and then having those pieces land everywhere else externally. So we do feature a full mass email suite that's directly embedded within the system, which I'll share a little bit more about. And then we also directly share all information from the website to social media feeds, with the main objective being we would love to provide almost training in a way for the community members. If there's any question or any clarity that needs to be had on what's happening at the district, the website is the avenue, and here's a bunch of places that you can find those pieces of information. So here on the slide here, we do cover accessibility. We have a built-in checklist that we came up with in partnership with the National Coalition of Special Districts. And we are also extremely heavily partnered with the CSDA. And so this being home for us, we're in Sacramento. So we've actually partnered with the CSDA to pre-build in all state of California requirements directly into the system for you. So I'll show you kind of what that looks like and how it can be built there. And we also fully take care of ADA compliance for the website. So unlike most website providers, we actually not only build the whole website 100% ADA compliant, but our entire system is actually built on a different set of scanners and different tools to be able to ensure that your site is 100% compliant with every edit, with every upload, or any sort of. Did I get muted? Can everyone hear me now? Can you all hear me there? Okay, I'll keep running. I'm not sure. So essentially, we've created a platform to where if you can copy and paste, drag and drop, you can handle the entire site. So I'll cover a little bit of that. And then also, we're really big on just tracking different traffic and different analytics for what's happening on the website as well, so that you can really ensure that you have a full understanding of what website traffic is being had, and you'll have continuous reporting on how all of that's coming out for the district as well. So, and I think more than anything else, with our unlimited training and support, we would love to be just an extension of your team when it comes to everything that you're managing with your web presence there. So I'm going to go ahead and share a different window with you and share a little bit about how this works and what we've done for some other districts for us here. Just one moment. Anything you'd like to add there, Dalen?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I think what would be the most useful is we just put it into action and showcase a little bit more about why we are so special district specific.
Are we okay right now? Oh, yeah. We were muted. We just have a couple of questions. And mine is, you made a comment. when somebody's making an edit on the website, it's ADA compliant. So does that happen immediately? I change a picture. Will it immediately change to ADA or does it take like an hour or whatever?
It actually is immediate. And so
Okay.
let me go ahead and share this window with you here so I can show you kind of what it looks like here in the interface. So really what we've done is we did a quick little mock-up just with our team of what the website can look like for you all. We're doing some pretty awesome stuff in terms of design. So we're going to give the district a full refresh on the functionality and just visually give you a fresh new look. So as far as the ADA compliance goes, here's actually how it works. Our entire site is built on a PDF scanner and accessibility scanner. So I apologize. I'm trying to navigate the Teams here and it's blocking my windows. So let's try to get to our site here. So every time you're making an upload or an edit on the site, I can actually go into any given page like so. So let's start at this page here. And let's say I actually want to post something for the community to view. So normally web builders are just really, really difficult to be able to post something quickly. So we actually live edit all of our content directly from the page view. So you can actually just click in and edit, copy and paste verbiage in there, include whatever you'd like. So you can click and drag, auto reformat by pulling things around the page. So to answer your question, ma'am, whenever I upload something here, I can go ahead and save and close. And it's done. That's live on the site. And then our accessibility scanner through the dashboard here is, I'm going to jump to a more broken site so you get an idea. Here's our accessibility dashboard that really manages everything in terms of your ADA compliance. So here under the pages breakdown, if anything gets flagged as not accessible, I can actually see exactly which page it's on here. I can see the issue itself, and I would be able to click review and fix. And that'll actually automatically jump me to that page along with highlight the issue itself. So from there, I would be able to, if it's something easy, just do a couple quick step-by-step instructions to make sure that that is now within compliance. Or with the proposed package that we're kind of looking at together with Kelly, you'll actually have a dedicated account manager that's going to be just in the know of everything that's happening for the district. And so we have unlimited support. So there's no billable hours for any sort of changes. There's no just any hidden fees or anything like that. So if there's any reason that you need to get a hold of us for anything, we actually have a direct hotline straight to our team. They'll pick up from there. And we also have a ticket system that the district can use, anybody there at the district. And we're going to get back to you within the hour, and our average time is about 15 minutes.
So can I ask another question? That
Yes,
sounds
please.
great. So you had that list of exceptions of items that weren't in compliance. So is that something our staff would have to look at regularly and then let you folks know, or are you guys behind the scenes monitoring for these things? Who goes to identify those to get somebody to fix it?
Yeah, I could jump in here real quick, Jacob.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, during the onboarding process, when we bring over the content from your current website over to the Streamline platform, we're going to make sure that the site is 100% accessible. So any content that you're currently experiencing with that might be out of accessibility, whether that be like images, PDFs, any other content that's currently ran on the website, we're going to make it accessible with our scanner. And then as the district continues to manage the website, we have this accessibility dashboard built into the platform, kind of like what you're seeing right now. And you can almost see it as like accessibility guardrails for the district. So as you're uploading content, as you're posting an image, updating a page, including content, this dashboard is going to be your best friend on letting you know, hey, where is the issue going on with the website? What do we need to do to fix it? And then you'll have two options to go from once you identify what the problem is. You could either attempt to fix it yourself, where the actual platform will teach you how to comply with whatever's going wrong with it. But you can also reach out to us. So you have unlimited support with us. We'll be able to help you. We have a full team of district experts that can solve any kind of accessibility issues that are on our sites.
So staff would have to identify it and either reach out, fix it themselves or reach out to you.
Yeah, but what's even great, Jacob, if you can go to that services page that you were looking at earlier. So as you're making updates to the page, if you scroll up, Jacob, if you want to go to the edit, share, accessible icon at the top, or go to the accessible icon. So at the top, it's going to let you know as soon as you make a change, it runs a scan on the page and it'll say, hey, this is either inaccessible or it is accessible. And if it says accessible, good, you're good to go. If it says it's inaccessible, it'll say exactly what that is. And then it'll give you those two options to reach out to us or attempt to just mediate yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in really quick? I kind of wanted to answer your question, Mr. Thomas. When you said what makes a site ADA compliant, for example, every picture that we post has to have text associated with it. It's called alt text. So if we were to post something, we have to add that text to each photo. And same thing with contrast. There's specific rules on text contrast with the background for folks with disabilities to be able to see that or know what the picture is saying. For someone who might not be able to see the picture, that is a requirement. And so I went through our website trying to add text to every single picture that may not have had it, which was very time consuming. And so I really see this as a value of flagging that to remind us, because sometimes when we're posting something, I think we've all done it, we kind of forgot that portion, but it's required on every single photo that might end up on our website.
Yeah, and
Thank
that's
you.
such a good call out because with website management, like with the normal website, I'm not too sure about the user experience that you all might be going through right now. But in normal website management platforms, as you're adding images, in order to make the image accessible, it has to have like some alternative text. That way, with people with any visual disabilities that are using some technology to be able to read the screen and the image, it can describe back to them what they're seeing through that image. And so with our platform, Jacob, if you want to click on edit real quick, if you go to the image, you will see that alt text may contain summer flowers or whatever the case may be. It gives you that green check mark. What's so innovative about our platform is that it has a built-in AI system that it attempts to read the image on its own and give a brief description of what it's seeing. So that way, once you upload that image, it'll give its own description. And so it automatically falls within compliance. If it gets, if you want to make it a little bit more specific and say, hey, there's orange flowers versus like summer flowers, you can do that as well. All you have to do is just click on the image like Jacob did before, and it'll allow you to edit that alternative text. So if you want it to be more specific, great. If you just want to take the AI suggestion, it'll already bake it into the image as you upload them to the platform.
Thank you.
Yep.
Perfect. So I think another thing that makes us a little bit different in being district specific is we know a huge part of what is happening on the website as a whole is maintaining compliance and making sure that all district information, whether it be public meeting information or any other committee meeting or whatever iteration of your different meetings that you have, to be posted really easily and be able to manage this well from your team's end as well while staying transparent. So here on the compliance checklist is that best practices list that I mentioned that we came up with the National Coalition of Special Districts. And then here with the CSDA, we did filter out a state-specific checklist of the actual requirements that need to be fulfilled when it comes to your website. So a lot of these pages can be created in a couple seconds just using the templates that we've already provided, and then you can pull on financial documents or whatever is applicable to those sections as well. So you can really just take one look and make sure that you're within compliance at any given point of what needs to be included. So we know a big portion of that is actually posting your public meeting information. So your agendas and minutes packets, along with any other special meetings that you may have. So we actually have a specific board meeting page builder that's embedded within the software. So All you would do to add a new meeting is you can add all 12 for the year because you have your pre-built calendar. And then just like so, whoever's managing this from the staff's end, it's going to make it so much easier to be able to go ahead and build these really quickly. So let's just push this one out to July for the sake of the example here. I can include my Teams link directly into that page and then save and close. And the great thing about this, go ahead.
I was going to say, so when you're building that and you said you added Teams, when it's ready, you can actually send it out from that area to everybody as well. Nice.
Yeah.
Rebecca,
Yes, ma'am.
you've looked at this.
Yeah.
So you're
And-
saving an extra step there. You put it on the website today, and then you have to go out to Teams to send it off to everybody. This will do it in one fell swoop. Nice.
Yeah, and I want to mention too, he said 12 per year. Just want to remind, we have about 24 per year,
Right.
plus all the committee
Plus,
meetings.
yeah.
So I,
No,
I really view this as a huge help for Rebecca and
Who's all adding the content? You and Rebecca for the most part? And you guys obviously have looked into this and done all the samples and everything.
yes.
Will anybody else have access or will it be streamed through YouTube?
No, for instance, engineering department, when they're gonna post like RFIs and whatnot, and sometimes customer service. So I mean, we all have our hands in it, absolutely. And same thing with IT as well.
So you can track who's doing any posting or upload or anything. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Can you set limitations on what somebody could put on there?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
You're
walk away.
reading on
Off
my
that
mind
one.
over here.
Yeah. And
Sorry
then
to jump in on that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll note something. Another thing to add, a lot of our districts, will have like these third-party IT services adopt the website, take the domain, which is like the actual name of the district's website. And what ends up becoming a hassle is that, they'll manage it on their end. They'll have only the access to it. They won't allow the district to make full functioning changes whenever they need to. And what a lot of times ends up happening is that the IT services are in the district kind of, they end on bad terms or whatever the case may be. And that has made it challenging for some of our other districts to get a hold of their information and get back into their website, which, there's all kinds of liabilities when it comes to like, the district's reputation online. What we stand for is not only do you own all of the content online, but you own the domain, you own the hosting, you own everything that's fully on the website. But we could also set limitations based off of users. So whoever you want to have access to the website, great, we can absolutely give them access to it. But in the future, if that employee or whoever that person is no longer with the district, we can have them removed. You can also have them removed, and we can do that in a very easy process through the platform. So yeah, just kind of wanted to touch on that there as well.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Kelly,
And so the great thing, go ahead.
I just got a couple questions on the finances of it, the cost of it, and what we're paying, if anything, right now for a similar service. And then if you can go through, answer that question and whatever that is, that the dollar amount is, and then go through these 2 paragraphs in financial considerations that's in the staff write-ups. Just explain what those costs are per year.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that till the end, but I
Oh.
can gladly do that if you
Okay.
guys would like.
Are you trying to move on or something?
No, I didn't. If you want to save it to the end, that's.
But it's
So we want to make this the end?
I can gladly answer that.
Okay.
If that's what you request. Would
All
you
right.
like me to jump into that really
It
quick?
doesn't matter when you answer it, no. You
Go for it,
continue with the
Kelly.
Presentation.
Okay, well, as in the report, I mean, pretty much everything there is there. One thing I didn't add was essentially if we were to just keep our current website and make no changes to it, really not do anything to it, and include a mass email capability, which would be a secondary software that we'd have to buy and manage, it would be roughly $243 more, an increase per month. If we were to keep the same website, utilize what we estimate, 50 to 100 hours of work from level 1, including buying also that email capability, it would actually be a $216 decrease. If we look at it like that, of course, that would, I don't think, if we were to do that robust overhaul, we wouldn't be paying for that year after year. So, but we do think it would take about 50 to 100 hours to really build this thing out to what they offer right out of the gate. Does that answer your question?
And then what would be and then the annual cost after that are just $2,500?
No, the initial startup cost is $2,500. The monthly is 1,190, which would be, the annual would be 14,280.
Okay. And so the first paragraph, it
Yeah.
talks about building it, creating it, and then they maintaining it for year after that is.
Right. The first paragraph is basically what we have, and if we were to add the email capability, and also noting that right now, any services that we utilize level 1 for, it's billed at a rate of $110 per hour. So if we call them to upgrade our, for instance, like the calculator, the rate calculator, that is billed at $110 an hour when they do those kinds of upgrades. With Streamline, if I was to contact them and say, hey, we have this, we need to do this, that's no cost. There's no additional cost at all for that. So for instance, during the rate study, we used level 1 quite a bit to make some of these upgrades and some of these more robust things. And we can do on our end some basic stuff, but some of the other more complex things, we do need to rely on level 1 for that. And again, it's an additional cost. It's a lower upfront cost, but we do pay for that. And again, that's at a rate of $110 an hour.
Hey, Kelly, do you know, based on their costs, their pricing versus others other than level 1, are they a little higher than normal, or are they kind of right in line? Or do we only know what level 1 pays? Like they're the only ones in our area to do something of this size. Any idea?
I didn't really look at any of the other in the area or what they provide. Again, I was really intrigued with Streamline for their specific work with special districts. We also, that is a cheaper cost. I believe it's around 30% less because we are part of CSDA.
CSDA.
So, and again, you mentioned the compliance, and I know that might gloss over, but that's a really important thing. I know part of his presentation, he's going to talk about what happens if we're not compliant. So I think that's that's just one small portion. And again, we haven't even gotten into the fact that this email capabilities is part of this. That wouldn't be an additional cost. That is part of this, and it would be linked directly to our website, where it wouldn't be a separate like MailChimp or something like that. And not only that, Jacob pointed out to me that companies like MailChimp actually sell your data, where we would have a little bit more control over this, and somebody could visit our website and immediately sign up for email notifications, and they can customize what notifications that would be, whether it's leaks or board meetings or committee meetings. Maybe they don't want to get every notification. They have that power. And again, with those email services, there's specific regulations on, they need to be able to simply and easily unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe.
Basically. Yeah. So that's specific.
Doggone it.
We'll come back.
Yes, come back. Keep talking, and it'll come back.
Everybody.
And I just encourage you to be a little patient. I know it's going to be a long, maybe presentation, but I do think this is would be a big thing for us. And there's a lot to it. And that's why we moved it from the last board meeting to this one. So we didn't want to just rush through it. So, I mean, I think this is, again, could be the central hub for the district for all forms of communication. So.
And
Yeah.
in my reading, we are doubling our costs in order to get this, because what is it? It now is $6,400.
No. Okay. So we're not quite doubling it. So you'd have to add the 49.46 to the that's $6,420 would be the email service that we'd have to purchase.
Oh.
You have to essentially add that to that. So we're not quite doubling it. I can do the math real quick, but I mean, roughly what, 11,000 versus the 14. And
But
again,
if we didn't go this way, we'd have to be getting some kind of email program somewhere.
I really think we should
Yeah,
move forward. I mean, the survey clearly showed that people would prefer email over maybe social media. I mean, basically, people chose email was the most desired way of communicating through our most recent communications survey. For the longest time, it was social media, and then towards the end of the survey, people preferred email or text.
Yeah. I remember what I was going to ask. So I know there's a lot of regulations for special districts with what they need to have on the website. So did he say that there was a checklist that you or Rebecca could go through and say, yes, we've got our salary rates up there, or, you know, we got our agendas and all that. Is there a checklist or?
Absolutely. And I'm certain he's going to get into it.
Okay, sorry.
But there, when he showed us that, there was checklists for
That's what I
that, for
thought.
not just ADA compliance, but for that other compliance and also the transparency page. There's, you know, CSDA offers a transparency certificate,
Right.
which I think I would love to go for that.
You should.
And embedded in this is actually a checklist for that transparency certificate. So we can see where we need to move forward to get that certificate.
Okay.
So there's more of a program here that we have to begin.
Pardon me?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get to the program and we can,
That's fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
please.
And really the one thing that I want to emphasize the most is that we aren't like a larger organization like Google or Apple or Facebook. Like our whole organization solely focuses on special districts. And that's why we've been such an affiliate partnership with CSDA, because like what Kelly was saying, we primarily focus on the compliance, the ADA portion, and which really has helped reduce risk for a lot of districts. We've been mainly the caretaker for a majority of districts' websites throughout the nation to help with like ADA compliance specifically. And then we so happen to really have a great relationship with CSDA that we're really in the know of any kind of legislation or you know requirements that districts are mandated to have, that are currently mandated to have, and in the next coming years, so that anything that is going to get passed within the next years, you all don't have to worry about that. We're going to take care of that on our end. We're going to make sure that the website's compliant. But we're also going to protect you in the event that you do hit with an ADA, you get hit with any sort of like ADA claim. So if any content that's being managed on the site falls out of compliance, we help protect through our indemnification process, any type of risk that the district might be susceptible to. We're going to go over all of that. We'll let Jacob kind of dive more into the platform, and I'm sure we'll probably answer any questions that you might have along the way. But yeah, just wanted to add that piece in there as well.
Yeah, thank you all. And so really quickly, just to cover your question about the checklist there, as far as the transparency goes. So here's how you can actually build an entire page for your transparency for the district, based on not just best practices, but what the actual requirements are for the state of California. And so to give you a quick look at what it would actually look like for you here is, this is Sunrise Recreation, but using that checklist there, they have an entire list of all of their transparency requirements, and they went above and beyond to just post things that they felt like were best practice to include for their district. So a lot of our districts actually win awards because they literally just click down the checklist, which has been really, really awesome. So even beyond that, we would like to help streamline some different service start requests, different permit requests, or any sort of submissions that could be had from the website as well. So Kelly and I have done a pretty extensive dig on what we can start to create in terms of different forms and submissions that can be done directly through the site from the community members. So, and they can come in and your customers can do an authorization for tenant water service form, and they can do that directly through the site and submit it through there. With all of these forms are available an e-signature tool as well. So this gives you a full certification of signature that's legally one-to-one with a wet signature. So our main goal is to make it easy, much easier on the staff, but also give the option to have any physical form recreated on the site as well. This is great for community surveys as well. So I know that there's a whole lot of changes going on with water rates and things like that as well. So you can use the same form to actually direct email out to the community. So by joining any sort of mail list, you can pull this up here. This is actually Joshua Basin. They're a little bit south of us in SoCal. And basically you enter your email address here and you can sign up for meetings and agenda notices directly. You can also sign up for district updates and a general newsletter through their system. And really, the way that they are doing that is through something like this. So let's say they wanted to come in and edit their services page here, and then they wanted to blast out this information directly to the community, include it as a newsletter. You just click the share function here, and then here's your full mass email tool. So similar to what Kelly was describing, this is exactly like MailChimp with all the same options and usability, but now with a few different ads. So every call to action from every one of these campaigns comes back directly to the website. So it helps train community members on here's where I find just any information for the district. And we also automatically drop information on social media feeds. So we'd love to re-centralize the website as being the hub and then have all those pieces land externally so that your social media feeds are now just an avenue to find information on the website as well. So we'd love to do all these things from the community facing end. And I know another thing the team was excited about is we also do employee access login sites as well. So let me give you a quick look at what that looks like. Essentially, this is two websites for the price of one for the community and one for your team. And here's a quick look at Joshua Basin's employee access login site. This is a great spot for HR information, for training resources, for any internal software that you may have a login to. It's a great central landing pad for all of your internal processes. So it is an additional website with all the same rules and tools that's just for your team's resources. The cool thing about this as well is the same emailing function is also available from this site as well. So you can direct email information for upcoming meetings from the staff's end directly to you all for the next upcoming board meetings. Some of our districts choose to have a board portal directly through this website as well, where you can actually go in and update agenda submissions for upcoming meetings or fill out any sort of internal form that you may be using on just a frequent basis. And same to be said from the staff's end as well. So I know that was a lot of information. Anything else I can clarify before I keep jumping here?
Keep going.
Awesome. So another big thing, anything else to add there, Dalen?
No, I mean, I think the biggest picture really here to paint is that you with this current package that you all are considering here today, it won't just be the community facing website. We will also be providing like an internal benefits portal website that a lot of districts use to just manage the communication that they have, whether that be with the employees or the board specifically as well. This has been a great tool for a lot of districts to be able to post like their board agendas for internal usage, or just submit payroll requests or vacation requests. So it really kind of streamlines the internal communication as well. So it makes it very easy for districts to be able to manage like employee documentation.
Perfect, thank you. So really quick, I'll jump on back to that site that we were just on together with Joshua Basin. And so let me just pull up their website actually. I know we were kind of talking through the automating the board meeting postings for any sort of documentation as well. Once you build those, like we showed earlier, these will actually auto-populate here at the bottom of the page for any upcoming meetings or any special meetings that are coming up for the board. So community can access directly there. And what you can actually do directly from this page is using that same email function, you can direct email out your agendas or anything else that might be associated to this meeting to any list that you may have for your community members. So main thing is it just makes it really easy to get your information in all kinds of different avenues. So I know it's a lot of information. We do want to really revisit and talk a little bit more about ADA compliance and what that means for the district. Number one, we are really focused on making sure that our sites can be accessible to the entirety of the community, which is awesome. And secondly, we really want to protect the district from any sort of risks that may be associated to that. Dalen alluded to this earlier, but essentially we see lawsuits come out all the time for this kind of stuff, anywhere from 4 to 40 grand from individuals that are jumping on district sites to see if there's an opportunity, or even now law firms. We've seen a lot of that as of recent as well. So we just want to make sure that we can at all times guarantee that the website can be 100% ADA compliant to completely remove any of that risk off the table at all times. And we're really...
And your
Go ahead,
insurance will hold us harmless if that does occur? Or?
So along with what we offer is we do offer the indemnity alongside that. So we indemnify for up to $50,000, and it accrues as year over year. So the subscription cost, which would be the $14,000, you would actually accrue that year over year. So it'll continue to add upon itself, and then that caps at $50,000. So we'll make sure that you not only have access to our legal teams that are kind of the ADA compliance experts, but also we'll back you financially as well.
Perfect.
I had a question. You work through CSDA, and I know you have several clients. Has anyone dropped out, for any reason?
Great question. Go ahead, Dalen.
Yeah. In terms of like, do you mean like they canceled our services? Is that what you mean?
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, that's the best part about us. The thing about our tools is that once districts get onto our platform, not only do we form the partnership of trying to address any concerns or issues that might have been wrong with their last website when they moved over to ours, but we consistently transition and transform what the tools are needing based off of customer feedback that we're getting. And that's the beauty about us compared to like these larger organizations like Google or like Facebook, that they don't listen to their users. They steal their data, and that's all they care about, right? With us, we're so in tune with our customer base and so focused, so like hyper focused just on special districts, that we don't have a lot of people leave our service. I would say maybe it's like 1 or 2 a year, and that's only because they end up merging with another district that is also using our...
Okay. Well, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah. So like, but in the last few years, we've signed on about, I would say in the last 2 years, we've signed on over like 1,000 districts, and all of them have stayed with us pretty consistently.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
Currently, we also serve over 750 California districts as well. So this is home for us, and we just want to serve our people.
So I have a couple of questions. Streamline will host the website, right?
Correct.
I mean, it stores on your platform. So are there any other additional security that Streamline offers than what we would have on our equipment? When I hear that we can use it for email and I see employee documents are going around, is there some security of some kind on their platform in addition to what we all have on our computer? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing on that is we actually do all of our hosting and all of our storage through Amazon Web. So you have top of the line data security when it comes to the encryption of your data. And what we've done is through the content manager is also safeguard the district from really any sort of public records requests or anything like that. We keep an archived version of every iteration of any page that's ever been on the site. So let's say that Kelly's taking more of a managerial role of now anyone has the ability to come in and post things maybe per department, and he can come in and see exactly how many times this page has been edited, every previous version, who made the last change. You can revert to previous versions. So not only do we want to make sure that your data is secure, but we also want to make sure that you have track of all of it and everything that lives in the website.
Yeah. And to touch in on that, since we only work with local government entities, security needs to be our highest priority, because a lot of the information is shared with the public. And so we've worked with lawyers that have focused on any type of security that we need to prioritize. But not only that, when we're hiring like our software engineers that are creating the platform and making sure that it's running, we specifically look for experience when it comes to like online security. So I just wanted to kind of shout that out as well, as that has to be the highest priority that we focus on.
Nice. And can you explain that you said that we can generate an email and send the agendas and stuff? So what platform is used? Is it Outlook or what are we currently using? Is it Outlook or something? So is that integrated with this program? Or
Yeah,
is there
so
going
how-
to be a new email server type thing?
No, so it works pretty collaboratively with whatever you're currently using. So if you are using Microsoft Outlook, all you have to do is just attach your Outlook account. You don't even need to sign in. All you really need to tell it is that like, hey, it's going to be sent from this email address. And all it does is just attach to that email address, and it sends it directly through like a domain of the actual website. So it's not going to come from like, say, kelly@calaveraswater.org. It's going to come from calaveraswater.org, or wherever the domain may be.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to add something really quick too, with the security issues that you raised. Dylan and myself, we had a specific meeting where that's really all we went over. I really wanted Dylan to comb through this. And of course, he asked several questions and used acronyms that I've never heard of. But I'm fully confident with Dylan's ability to make sure to vet this thing, and that was really important to us. And again, we made sure that we had a specific meeting that wasn't about all the the bells and whistles, but let's see that back end. And I was really impressed. I mean, I don't think Dylan left a stone unturned in that regards.
And I'm pleased to hear that, but I really would like to see some backup. That's what if?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you
Well,
can
we-
understand.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And we'd be happy to share with the board as well. We have a full document that outlines our security in depth as well. And I know Kelly has that. I don't know if we prepared it for the meeting or not, but we'd be happy to share that as well.
One thing to highlight on that, Jacob, is if you want to go to like, say, for example, if you want to pull up any live website, and you could pull up the certificate of security, if it lets you pull up on your, or it might not on the domain.
So we can do two.
It might not show up there.
So just like
Usually it shows. Okay, it's okay. It's not turned on right now. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that all of our websites come with a certificate of security. So that it's a cost that usually falls on the district that you have to pay for every year. We cover that within the costs as well. So we absorb that with the fee that you're paying us. But yeah, we're more than happy to provide that to you once the website goes live. Full certificate of security that the domain is good. Everything, any type of usage that's being promoted on the platform is private and well secured.
Okay, gentlemen, are you about finished with your explanations and answering our questions?
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps everything. I think the closing statement that I would love, and I'd hand it back to you, Jacob, after, is one, I do want to just thank you all again for giving us some time. But two, like I mentioned throughout the meeting, like our sole mission is just to be able to make the lives of special districts easier. And as much as it might seem like it's just a website platform, a lot of community members rely on getting information from their district through the website platform. So not only do we provide those tools, but we're gonna make sure you're gonna have a really, really good website, design-wise and supported-wise, secured-wise as well. We're gonna make sure that you have that email tool embedded in it. It looks like you all are pretty much shopping for that as well. We include that into the platform. The forms, we temporarily went over that, but in terms of like DocuSign, if any of you use DocuSign or any type of e-signature tool, that's also embedded into the tool that we're gonna make sure that you have access to. On top of that, the internal portal. And then finally, the ADA portion. A lot of the districts that we work with come to us because of the risk that they face every day with drive-by lawsuits or just random lawyers calling them saying, hey, your site's not accessible. You better get it up to par. We take care of that on our part. And so, that's just kind of goes hand in hand with emphasizing how much we want to make online compliance in reputation, very accessible for districts, and that's who we are.
I heard you say DocuSign. So right now, new customers, don't they have to come in and fill out everything? So would we be able to put the application online and do DocuSign and so they never have to come in?
Well, we actually pay additional for DocuSign for customers to do that.
Currently.
That aren't here. So it's potentially that could be a savings if we didn't use that system.
Nice. Because we could use
There's
this
several
one.
things where we could potentially get rid of other costs because.
And if we went
using
with
that.
this, we could do that and save some money because it's included in this package. Okay.
Yes, like she mentioned too, and there's some other costs that we, could come later in the future, like, and we've touched briefly on the portal for staff. Right now we use ADP, and we might transition away from that, and that's why we were really intrigued with this too, because we think that can incorporate that. So that could be savings down the road as well. I mean, that wasn't included in the packet because it's not, set in stone right now, but things like DocuSign, things like the email, this service really offers a lot in one package that we wouldn't have to piecemeal together, later on with other softwares or other services.
You need anything from us here today, or just a
Yes.
presentation that you guys are working on?
This
We
is
need to approve it.
just a discussion item. This was discussed at the External Relations Committee meeting last month. The request was to bring it to the full board. We have, because of the cost savings, we're basically shifting cost. I think we have budget for it. But we wanted to present this to the board before we go in this direction.
We could take action to approve to move forward though,
No,
right?
no action needed from the
It-
board.
It looked
Discussion,
awesome.
action?
I'm-
Mhm.
Well,
Excuse me.
I want to chime in here just to ask one additional question. Gentlemen, this is very impressive. I can see how exactly why your company is growing. You mentioned that you had 1,700 agencies that you're currently serving, and 700 of them are in California. And you also talked about how accessible you would be to Kelly's almost hourly inquiries. But I think I know the answer to this question, but have you anticipated what your staffing level might need to grow to handle like a doubling in size of your company? Because I could see that happening.
Well, we appreciate the high opinion that you have of our organization. But yeah, absolutely. I could speak more on this because I also partake in like the hiring that comes into the company. We have mapped out the next 2 years on what we plan on growing to, with support being one of the key priorities that we need to focus on. We work with so to give you an example, we work with a lot of districts in Colorado currently, and there's some legislation being passed that basically saying all local government organizations need to have an ADA accessible website. So we're having a lot of good traction there. But, the reason why I bring that up is because we are continuing to ramp on the team right now. Right now, we have a fully dedicated staff that just focuses on ADA as well as website management. We have just recently hired 3 new support representatives this month, with the plan on increasing, potentially doubling that size within the next year. But kind of our strategy on how we plan on doing it is, as we double the company, we double the customer success team. So we're always being maintained and staying within compliance and need on that. But not only with this, another thing that we didn't add is that with the current package that you all are considering here today, you have a dedicated hotline to a specific account manager that's going to take care of your website. So if there's any need on a specific need, you're going to be really well in tune with who this person is. So if it's a design need, if it's an ADA need, we have answers for you. And so we plan on continuing that service for the foreseeable future, because that's really what a lot of districts have asked for in the past. So just wanted to include that nugget in there as well.
Okay, if we decide to make this change, what would be your anticipated availability date for us? When can we start using your website?
Yeah, a lot of it's fairly quickly. It just mainly depends on all of your availability. Like I mentioned, we have a dedicated team that meets with you pretty frequently. The onboarding experience, just so I can kind of paint a picture for everyone. It starts off with an introduction call. So we will meet with the team and go over exactly what they're hoping to accomplish with the website. We'll go over some design aspects as well as start, playing around and testing out the tools that you all are going to be utilizing with the tool, with the platform. After that initial meeting, we go into the back end and start moving over all of the information, making it streamlined, ADA compliant, everything else, and we start building the website like a mock draft of what that looks like. So the second meeting, we basically say, hey, here's the first draft. Are we on the right track? Are we good to go? You'll either give us some feedback or we'll say, hey, yep, we're right on the right track, keep going. The third meeting is when we take it live to the community. And then that kind of is where you all give us the green light. We transition your current domain. So you're not going to lose the domain that you have right now. We're going to move that over to the Streamline domain. So any traffic that's basically being directed to your current site, it's just going to be directed to the Streamline site after that. And so that timeline typically takes about a month to 3 months, but we can move as quickly as the district is willing to do so as well.
Okay, that's good. And Galen, you said that you're from Ripon. We're recruiting for an IT position here. If you have any relatives there that aren't, they don't want to move to Sacramento, but they could come and work in Calaveras County, we need to talk.
I know a few
ahead.
people from Oakdale as well. So I got connections, and I'll make sure that you guys are well taken care of.
Okay, this decision is dependent upon that, so.
Then you know what? I'll make it happen. I'm going to
Okay.
Ripon this weekend
You want him
for
to
Easter.
send somebody to us that he's not willing to hire himself.
I said that if they're not willing to,
See how that works.
no, if they're not willing to move to Sacramento, I qualify then.
Will we keep the ccwd.org?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a great question. Yeah, you will. So any traffic, a lot of districts ask that because everyone just knows CC or whatever the original domain is to be able to go to the website. We will 100% make sure that that domain stays the same with the new website.
Perfect. I wanted to add something really quick too on some of the analytics that this platform allows us to do too. Is right now you ask me all the time about can we see how many people are visiting and whatnot? And right now we have the bare bones website right now. I can only go back 30 days unless I upgrade our current website to see more. And so one of the things that Streamline offers is those analytics, and specifically they'll come out once a year as part of this package and present to the board the health of our website, how many people we're reaching and all that. He didn't really touch on that here, but this might spur some of that conversation. And I think that's, again, a valuable tool so we can know what platforms how we're reaching out and how our communication is successful or not.
And they might be able to give us ideas about questions we haven't even thought of to ask our
Absolutely.
customers. Right.
Exactly. That's such a great point too. Like I mentioned, the example that I pointed out in Colorado, since Colorado is dealing with so many accessibility issues, we're prioritizing that across the board with California as well. So anything that might not be happening even in California just yet, like we're already ahead of the game. So we're taking care of that in the back end, and that's something the district doesn't need to worry about.
All right. Michael mentioned before that this doesn't require action, but I'd just like to ask informally, does anybody on the board here have any objections to moving forward with this?
No.
Okay.
We have public comment.
All right. I know we have public comment, but so with no objections and yes, come forward with your public comment.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Francisco de la Cruz. Is this a public company, publicly held, or is it a private company?
Privately
Streamline.
held.
Private.
It's private. Any plans for IPOing in the next 5?
No, not currently. No.
Great. You were using Amazon Web Services, so that means no hardware requirements for the district
Correct.
besides what they use? And
Correct.
the fee structure, I'm assuming, is based on a package. And this package does not include the DocuSign, does not include the employee portal, does not include the board portal. Is that correct?
I'm
It
not
actually
sure.
includes all of them.
Yeah, I'm
sure
not
it's
sure.
Every service.
So it does come with all that, because I thought I heard
Yeah,
it.
You said that earlier,
I'm not
yeah.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if we were able to lay out the full packages, but yes, with this pricing, it does include all of the tools.
And that pricing is guaranteed for how long?
It's a 1-year contract. So yeah, it just depends on whatever the district's need is following that.
Well, let's say that we went for the premium package. What would the differences be between this package and whatever we would consider the premium package?
It's Operations Pro, so this is the premium package.
I would say this is the premium package.
Okay, so then the only things that would add to the cost of the contract would be some reason you added, not because there's additional packages that are being added, right? Used to be 15,000 and now be whatever you have experienced inflation or employee, whatever. The contract is for a year.
Correct. Yeah, we don't normally include any features into the packages and then automatically bill our customers. We'll reach out to you directly and see if it's useful, and then depending on whatever the cost is, then we can work it out from there.
Okay. I was very impressed by the possibilities that I heard this package offers, but with those possibilities come training requirements. I'm looking at least 5 board members that will have to be trained on the board portal. I'm looking at the other employees here that are in engineering or in administrative services, et cetera, especially if we start using some of these new forms. That would change procedures, right? From your perspective?
Typically, I would say that's pretty common with a lot of districts that we work with. We work with districts of all sizes, whether that be, a population of 10 to a population of like 10 million. And so, yeah, they all have different requirements, but with this package that you all are considering, it provides unlimited training and support. So if you want to reach out to us and train anybody associated to the district, we will handle that on our end.
Yeah, I was more concerned about the fact that we are already understaffed, and we keep hearing from the general manager of how hard the staff works to fill everybody else's responsibilities. These are going to be on top of those responsibilities, and it's just something to consider. That I just wanted to make sure that we don't go into it going, well, it's 3 months down the road and now everything happens. I don't have a good understanding of what this thing is going to cost us. And I don't have a really good understanding of how it's going to significantly improve the ratepayer experience. I can certainly understand and see how it significantly improves internal operations. I would like to see some work done on how this is going to reduce the cost of doing business, because none of that's addressed. And in a business case, I would want to see, hey, we're going to change the way we do stuff. We're going to change it massively. And there is a lot of good stuff out there about, all these districts are doing it, et cetera. Only a few drop out, et cetera. But we don't know what it's going to take to make this thing a reality and operate the way it's being presented. And I think it's incumbent upon us to at least say, we've explored it. These are the changes that are going to happen. She's going to do this 10 hours a week less. He's going to do it 15 hours a week less. And this is going to happen over there. And the total cost of going to this is going to be the $14,000 a year, plus all of this training, plus all of the change duties. And so the total cost might be $25,000 a year. But right now, we're not asking those questions. So whatever happens, happens. That's my concern.
Okay,
Just to touch on that real quick, I mean, we are having those discussions. That's kind of a greater level of detail than what we would focus on in the board meetings, but those discussions are happening between our staff that work on these issues and what we can potentially, I think we have had some discussion here about where we can potentially save on eliminating some services by using this. But if there was a significant cost increase, that would certainly be highlighted here and be a part of the discussion. But I think within the existing budget, we can shift to make this work, and then we'll staff it appropriately. And those discussions are happening at the staff level.
And because a lot of research and thought have already been given
I think those are great suggestions. Thank you very much. And one thing I want to touch on is, we have looked at this and our current website is very cumbersome. It's very difficult to make these updates. And so we rely heavily on level one, again, at that hourly rate. And that makes it challenging. And so one thing we're really intrigued is how easy this is and how easy it is to manage. And I do think one of the beneficial things to our customers and to our community is, for example, the transparency page. I mean, I think that's fantastic. Through the last few months, we've heard that word quite a bit. And to have a page specific to that, to find these documents and to lead our customers and our community to that, I think that's really, really important. And again, what else will it do for our customers is that email capabilities. Right now, we don't have that in this robust form. And again, we've seen it. We did a survey and it's been asked for. So I'm really hoping to provide that for our community and for the customers.
Okay. Al, you were standing there earlier.
Thank you, Al Segala, Taxpayer Association. I have two basic questions. One, what is the cost of this package? I missed it. And number two, what potential is there for making money with the website? In other words, if you could make half of the cost of the website by offering services to the ratepayers or the public or contractors, it could be very interesting. I haven't heard any discussion about that. It looks like that website has a lot of potential for making money for the district. Thank you.
1,280.
Well, yeah, to answer your question, Al, it's 14,280 is the annual cost as projected, but that's not, there's a delta there. The current cost is about 7,000. So we're going to get a better job done. We'll be able to communicate with our customers in a better, more efficient fashion. And that's what we've been encouraged to do since September, is to be better communicators. And by God, we're going to do it.
And I think the cost to actually do what this website can do would be closer to I think it'd be essentially a wash to provide the same,
If we had the
not
same-
cost savings by going this route to order the same functionality. But yes, that's the offset of just that one service. But I think we can save costs in other areas as well.
And
Not
just
to mention the staff time.
I just want to make sure we're completely clear on the cost. Currently it's 4,946. If we add the email service, which I strongly recommend, that's another 6,420. That would bring basically 11,366. So with a difference of $2,914 per year. And again, when we start adding DocuSign and all the other features, the internal customer portal, I think that number will shrink. And again, that doesn't include any support, as we need now. The support through this team is unlimited. Doesn't matter,
Can we get a longer contract?
You may speak.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a couple words. I've heard for years that our website is antiquated, tough to work with, difficult to get information, difficult to find information. And we've heard from a lot of public members that that's the same thing. They can't find it, and it's there. They just haven't unable to find it. This will help on that. I'm so encouraged to go forward on this. This is an awesome tool. Moving into moving along with the technology, or just trying to keep up. And I think we're barely keeping up at this point. And I encourage staff to continue working with these gentlemen and bring this to fruition. Thank you very much.
Okay, Michael, go ahead.
Mike Castro. One thing I'm concerned with is 1-year contracts. Where will it be in 10 years? What's their history with the other people that they do business with? What is it escalating annually, their contracts? The other thing is, let's say in 7 years, you guys find the next better provider. What are going to be the glitches to get out from one service into the other? Do you own and retain everything to where you can just transition it with another company and hold on to it, or are you ending up starting from scratch again?
They said we own everything.
I heard that, but I'm never sure if that's a permanent thing or once you shut down. Sometimes my experience is when you no longer have a contract with somebody, everything kind of disappears because it's not managed anymore. But as they say, my primary thing is, what's the cost escalation going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Is it going to double? Is it going to go from 14,000 to 28,000 in 10 years? As I said, I don't like the 1 year contract thing.
Right.
Well,
That's catchy.
the question that I would say is, what's the off ramp? Because technology can change. We may end up with, something completely different here, technology wise in the next 12 months very easily. So, I mean, I would hate to have a 7-year contract with anything technological because you just don't know how bad it'll change. But what is our off ramp? Is it a 30-day off ramp? Are we just dedicated for the year? When do we have to re-sign up? How much advance notice do we have to give? And once again, if we decide to go another route, what is our off ramp? We're committed to the end of the year or the 12 months, or is there a 30-day, 60-day off ramp?
Yeah, it's typically we ask just like as a formality about a 30-day notice. But yeah, to touch on that part, the whole history of why we do 1-year contracts is because we work with districts that work with an organization called Civic Plus, and they lock districts into 5-year contracts, and then they nickel and dime them for other types of services, whether that be support or anything else. And the districts really can't do anything. And so we use the term contract, but if the district feels that, our value that we provide within the first 3 months of our service does not meet the requirement that we portrayed here today, we're more than happy to dismiss any agreement that we have set forth and refund the remaining balance. And so there's no full commitments when it comes to working with our services. But in terms of like an off-ramp example, I would say that, I would love to have you as a customer for the next 30 years. Unfortunately, I understand that technology continues to change and districts find other examples or other solutions that work better for them. And so in the event that you do want to offboard, like I mentioned, all we ask is a 30-day notice. And then depending on whatever service you decide to work with through that, the district owns all of the property online. So you get to decide when you want to transition that over, how it wants to be transitioned over. And yeah, it's a pretty seamless process.
And that's pretty typical of most of our service agreements is we have a pretty short off window. I mean, typically, Michael, it's 30 days on most of our service agreements, 30, 60 days.
Yeah, it depends, but we try to keep that flexible and also try to retain ownership of anything we've invested in.
And he said that we do retain ownership.
And I'd like to
Okay,
add
well,
as
I'd like
well,
to-
I believe the proposed contract is actually a monthly subscription too. So really, you would just give us 30 days notice and we can move on from there.
Okay, gentlemen, you've been very helpful to us. Thank you very much for spending time with us today. That's very enjoyable on balance here. I'd like to move this along.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Just
Thank you for your time.
Just to wrap it up, we're planning on moving forward with this, but we'll keep the board posted and report back to External Relations Committee as well on progress.
Cool.
Okay, we have, the next item is 4B, the online smart meter customer portal demonstration.
Good afternoon again. I am going to be moving over here to this location to give the demonstration. I just simply wanted to make the announcement that this demonstration itself was originally brought to the External Relations Committee in, I believe, January, and we are bringing it to the full board today.
Is it pretty much the same stuff or has there been any updates?
Kelly, would you? I wish I had done this before. Let's take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That was my.
No problem. I can answer that when we come.
Scott is walking out the door. Is that the reason?
plugged in?
I believe I am, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so before we had gone to break. One moment. All right, before we had gone to break, Director Cicada, you had a question regarding whether or not the presentation was the same.
Figured I was gonna excuse myself to use the facilities
Oh.
if I'd see, because I've seen it before, but we had a break, so I'm good. No worries.
All right, well, just to answer your question, it's a little different. I'm diving a little bit deeper into this presentation because as I've spoken about at other committee meetings, I've been working very closely with Tyler over the past couple months to really discover and utilize the benefits of the portal and build it the way that we want it to and what's going to be best benefit for the customer. So I did just want to take a deeper dive today with the full board.
Got my attention.
All right. So to begin, this is, as I stated, the smart meter element of the customer portal, which was launched in January of this year. We have had a customer portal established since we transitioned from Springbrook to Tyler Technologies in, I believe, September of 2021. This is just an additional element of the existing portal that was launched this year. So I will dive into some of those new features, but also provide just kind of a refresher on some of the existing offerings to the customer when they log in. So just to highlight some of the new features that were launched in January of this year, there is hourly, daily, monthly, and then a custom option usage graph on the main landing page when the customer logs in. And you can view up to 60 days at a time. There's also a toggle on the graph where you can bring in temperature readings to actually gauge consumption against the temperature that was existing in that area for that day. And then the monthly view, which I obviously have in quotation marks because we bill bi-monthly, but the monthly view provides billed consumption and shows billing period, usage amount, and the billed amount, and is able to compare to prior year if a customer is looking for an easy comparison on what their consumption trend was for the prior year compared to this year. There are also alerts that can be set by the customer, including consumption thresholds, leak alerts, vacation threshold alert, and the customer can choose email, call, or text notification, or they can select all of the above. So when we're talking about the alerts themselves, I did just want to kind of go into detail a little bit more about what that means. So if a customer is enrolled in leak alerts on the portal, they will receive a notification when there is a moderate, severe, or critical leak. And the customer would toggle that switch to on in the portal, and they would receive an automated alert if their water consumption indicates an abnormal usage or a potential leak there at their property. And the thresholds for moderate, severe, and critical are established by the district and are usually in correlation to the type of account. So thresholds for a commercial use or an irrigation use account will probably be different than a residential use, just simply based on, consumption trends. But those thresholds can be modified and reviewed on a continual basis to make sure that, as we change through the seasons and consumption, trends change, we can modify those thresholds so that we're getting and customers are receiving accurate alerts. Consumption, the customers can enroll in daily or monthly consumption threshold alerts to manage their usage and conserve water. So again, it's a toggle that the customer would select to receive an alert if their consumption exceeds a customer defined amount. So I will bring up the portal here and actually show the area on the portal where these alerts exist, and that the portal itself actually uses a calculation that is specific to the customer to help them establish effective thresholds for daily or monthly consumption based on prior consumption, so that they have kind of an average point to work with in knowing where to set those thresholds. And then there's also vacation alert, and this is actually a newer alert I've learned for the portal, and customers can enroll in these alerts to notify them if water is flowing through the meter when they're away from the property. So again, a wonderful thing for us to have here, especially for our district where we do have a lot of secondary homeowners or folks that, are not occupying the home, year round. And so they can set alerts there that will notify them from a distance if there's any consumption outside of the norm there for the threshold that they set. So I'm going to just jump here.
It could also be called a squatter alert.
Yes, exactly. But one of the things that obviously we want to highlight here is that there's several options for our customers, and it's entirely based on what the customer is looking to achieve. So it's customer driven, and really kind of puts the power in their hands to determine, what kind of notifications they're looking to receive and when. Bear with me just a moment. I'm going to bring up our portal site, and just as I did at the previous committee, I'm going to use my account as an example. Hopefully my husband doesn't mind. But this is the landing page here that customers should be familiar in seeing if they have been registered on our portal prior to the smart meter element being rolled out. But you will see here that, and customers will notice that the usage graph has changed. There's a lot more data, obviously, that's being included here. And you can go back and take a look during specific time frames. So if you were aware that you were not present at the house, or you wanted to see, what your consumption trends were, you can look on a monthly, daily, hourly, or custom time frame. So we can go ahead and start with monthly here. And this is just basically going to demonstrate that prior year is in the light blue, current is in the dark blue, and it's going to detail for you those billing periods there when you hover over those bar graph lines, and then it will tell you your billed consumption so that you can actually take a look and see, whoa, there was a big difference there. We put landscaping in, by the way. Justifying. But you can see that obviously our consumption in other months is pretty consistent. And so over time, you should be able to utilize this to see if you're consistent, or if there's something, that's inconsistent with your consumption. But all of that information there is listed bi-monthly, because we do bill each area bi-monthly. Just a small kind of caveat here. So we obviously have not billed. I am a cycle 1 customer, so we have not billed for May yet, but it is going to give you just kind of a running tally of how much you've used so far that will be going towards that bill. You can all
at this point, how much will customer service get into this? Because you get to see the reports, and yes, the customer does have access to it, but the customer for some reason is oblivious or doesn't pay attention. Will customer service follow up? And an extreme usage of water.
So I can go ahead and get to that here momentarily.
Okay.
But yes, I will be explaining a little bit more of some of the benefits that we have on the customer service side, including a clerk dashboard where we're provided with data and we can go ahead and utilize that to make sure that we're maintaining communication with the customer.
That's,
Yes, so I'll go ahead and dive into the clerk dashboard side of it in just a few more slides. But for the customers, this is the interface that they're seeing. So they're able to go in and see daily consumption for a period of time here, and it is for a 60-day period. They can also dive down specifically into hourly. So if they're looking at a particular day and they're really wanting to know what they used for that day, it will show hourly consumption here. And then they can also set a custom time frame if they'd like. If they'd like to go ahead and take a look at something during a period of time, they can set, oh, maybe not. Did I spook it? So it doesn't look like that is populating the way it should. So part of the presentation that we've given on the portal at the External Relations Committee meeting as well, because this is a huge benefit to our customers and then us internally. But as you can imagine, there are things that are popping up on the site that customers are noticing, that we're noticing. And again, we're actively working with Tyler to make modifications and, specifications to the particular portal so that it's, again, maximizes the benefit for our customer. A lot of these products are what we call, out of the box type deals, and we have to build them the way we want them to be built. And so we're in there, we're working with them on several of these things. And even though we launched it and we rolled it out, they've actually come up with several other, they've done production passes already just in the time frame that we've been live customers for this element where they've made changes. So, and added things to the portal. So as it's kind of a living, breathing thing. So we're asking customers to bear with us.
I'm looking at this and it looks really cool because I'm not a customer, so I don't get to see any of this. Is it possible to see what the bill looks like, or is there too much personal information on there for us to look at?
Oh, no, I don't.
I'm
I
just
don't
kind
have
of curious to see
anything
what somebody looks like when they get their bill.
Sure. No, I can show you. So here's the most recent bill here, and it should display in like PDF form, but it's an actual visual of the bill and what it would look like if you received it in the mail.
I've just never seen one from there. There you go.
So it's listed here and hopefully you all can see. And so you just kind of scroll down and take a look, and our messaging is here. The coupon is here. So if you still wanted to print it out or utilize the coupon on the bottom of the statement to send in with your payment, you could do that.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure. So one of the other features, obviously, that we're looking at here is also the alerts and setting up alerts. So this element of it is in conjunction with contact preferences that are set through the customer. So alerts themselves can be selected based on what the customer would like to receive from the district regarding their account. And they can toggle whether or not they would like to receive email or phone call or text notifications. And you just need to simply click on these toggles and that will enable the alerts. Now, part of what I mentioned earlier was that the system will actually tell you what your average daily use is and what your average monthly use is. But that's based on a 12-month period of time. And as anybody knows, usually your usage fluctuates depending on the time of year, whether you have irrigation or not. And so you'll want to factor that in as a customer. So I might set a higher average daily use or a higher average monthly use during the summertime to, take into account that I not only have indoor consumption, but I also have outdoor. And so you don't want to be bombarded with a bunch of notifications for setting the threshold too low. But you also want to make sure that the threshold is not too high, that you're not receiving notifications. So it really is just kind of you have to fine tune it. And so customers will need to go in and kind of find out what thresholds work for them in what they're trying to achieve as far as their usage is concerned.
On this notification screen, is there somewhere else in this portal that will allow you to send them email or text on other things that aren't related to their water use?
Right, so we do have contact preferences here, and so you can elect to receive e-billing, like if you would like to receive your bill emailed to you, you can set your email notification here. You can also choose to receive a mail paper copy if you'd like, or you can do one or the other. And it actually modifies our side of the system so that when we do billing, these preferences are taken into account during that time.
I think I was looking for, can they select, do you want to receive emails from CCWD, like a newsletter or something? Was there any capability for them to sign up?
I don't think directly out of this interface, but as you can see over here to the right-hand side, we do have quite a bit of landscape here to put in additional information and announcements. And it's my understanding that we do have the capability to potentially link out. So if there is something, on our new Streamline website that allows us to have folks enroll to receive, board agendas or newsletters, we can link out to that here. But we have control over that.
Okay. I'm looking on the notes about convenience fees, and we know we have customers frustrated with that. It says if you'd like to avoid one, mail in a check. If you want, you might want to add a sentence that says, if you want to avoid, mail a check or check with your bank to see if they offer a free bill pay service. Because a lot of them do.
It'd be nice to have an explanation of where that convenience fee goes.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Okay. All right, we can go ahead and.
That is a misconception that somehow we're charging
We
that.
right.
I think it would be good to have some sort of asterisk or something that said where the convenience fee goes.
That's perfectly fine. We can go ahead and again, this announcement area over here is completely modifiable by staff. So we can modify this and change it to anything that would be applicable or more useful for the customer. And we absolutely can do that in there. So as far as the alerts go, just kind of circling back here, we've got leak alerts. And again, we manage the thresholds on the internal side for moderate, severe, or critical. And the customer will receive an alert there if based on their account type, it crosses into whatever those thresholds are. Typically those align with thresholds that we have set for the AMI system as a whole. So it's not anything that's arbitrary. We take a look at consumption and we will set thresholds based on consumption practices specific to our district. And then there's vacation threshold alerts as well. So you can establish a start and end date for when you're not going to be at the property. And if you're not expecting any water consumption, you will want to put something as, you could put a 0 in there. And anything over that, even if you have a trickle, a small, tiny leak, or your customer service valve gets turned on and, somebody's using water, you will be notified of that so that you can take action. What I wanted to do was just kind of demonstrate here what these notifications actually look like. So here's an example of an emailed notification. So it will come through from a no reply email saying that it's a courtesy notification from CCWD and that water consumption is abnormally high for the meter located at this location. It could indicate a potential leak. If you have any questions, please contact customer service or you can view your consumption online. So that's just an idea of what the email notification would look like. And again, the wording itself is all, we can change that at any time to make it, more applicable or include information that we think is beneficial to the customer.
So this might be a stupid question. So it's saying for their side of the meter, are you guys somehow notified of a leak on the other, on our side?
No, this not here, not in the customer portal. We have Centrix, which is.
That's it. Okay.
That last sentence is awfully long.
What's that?
The last, where you're going to go to the website, municipal onlinepayments.com/Calaveras County Water District, California/utilities.
So that is the actual URL to log into the customer portal. We could look into doing some sort of vanity URL. We just have not done that.
What you could do is say, click here and link that URL. So all they say is the click here.
Right.
I mean,
No,
that's
and
really
and
bad.
and again, this is completely we can manipulate this to meet, the expectations of what we need to,
'Cause let's-
send.
Again, think of our customer and
Sure.
That is a link though, in the real world, not the example. So it's underlined to where if a customer clicked on it, would take them there, right?
Right. So we can modify this to include a direct link. This is just simply an example.
Yeah.
And this
So
is,
on your real ones,
and
probably.
you can see that, it's emailing me to let me know my address of 5519 53rd Street. This is just an example of what it could be.
To you.
But again, we do have control over what that is. We also have a text notification. And just to give an idea, obviously not anything really, over the top, but just simply says, this is a courtesy notification. Your water consumption is abnormally high, and you can contact us with any questions. Okay, and again, we can modify the verbiage, within the text message if we feel that needs to say something different, but we can make it as short and sweet or as long as we need it to be. But
Just as a suggestion, could it say that there is an indication, how could I say, your water meter is indicating that your consumption is abnormally high. That not the way that it's written there originally is like a criticism of their lifestyle or something. Your water consumption is really high, but as indicated by the meter.
right, and this is all modifiable. We can absolutely change any of the communications in here to make it more friendly and applicable to what the customers are looking to, whatever information they're looking to pull from the notification. So we can absolutely change these.
Okay, Bertha, you had a question earlier and she said she'll cover that there. What about the customer that might not be online or something?
Right, so that's actually the next slide. That we're getting to.
She's got it.
One of the other things, and again, in kind of keeping with the whole idea, kind of to piggyback on the presentation from Streamline, is that we want to try to provide as many options for notifications as possible. And one of the options is also to receive a phone call. And so I just would like to provide a demonstration of what that phone call would look like. Oh, it's going to call my phone. Mhm.
Data rates will apply.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna have that little tone like the emergency broadcast.
Yeah. This is a test.
Please press 1 to continue.
This is on a test, got a damn water leak.
This is a courtesy notification from Calaveras County Water District to let you know that you have exceeded the vacation consumption threshold you set for your water meter. You used 200.55 cubic feet of water and had a daily threshold of 150.00 cubic feet. Please contact customer service at 209-754-3543 if you have questions. To repeat the message, press 1. To exit the system, press 9 or just
It's amazing how you made your voice sound so automated. but
One of my many talents, yeah. No, so just wanted to share kind of the whole suite of options for notifications for our customer and for all of our customers. And again, this is all based on how the customer would like to receive notifications from us.
Okay, Kelly, I've got a question, and this kind of goes back to the shock that we always experience when somebody's meter is running and they don't realize it and they suddenly get a $3,000 bill. What about if that person is not tech savvy and doesn't doesn't know how or doesn't choose to go in and set the thresholds? Did I hear you say that there is like the backside of our system will look for abnormal consumption, and isn't it logical that we've got a telephone number or an email for any bill payer?
Right. So in moving forward with the presentation, we actually have internal data that is shared to customer service staff through a clerk dashboard. And so if we go in and work with Tyler to, again, where the customer can toggle things that they are looking to have notifications shared with them on the customer side, we can toggle notifications on the clerk dashboard side as well. And so part of the benefit of this particular portal is that the customer service reps can go in and actually within the dashboard see and have displayed any customer accounts that are showing spike usage. So if there's, an abrupt spike, which could indicate, some sort of leak, we can receive that notification on our side of the dashboard. We can also get notified if there's any kind of reverse flow, and obviously work alongside operations to have those addressed. One of the other things that the dashboard allows for is just basic tools for us to track and monitor consumption and then troubleshoot questions. But as far as the alerts are concerned, for any customers that don't have alerts toggled, we are notified through this dashboard of anything abnormal and can then take action to potentially contact customers on a more frequent basis. Instead of relying simply on the billing process to determine at that time that there's something abnormal or out of the norm, we can go ahead and actually utilize this dashboard to potentially notify customers in a more timely manner.
And you're looking at that daily.
Yes, we have the potential to look at that daily. And like I said, this dashboard, this clerk dashboard side of it is it's integrated in with the Tyler billing system, but it is kind of a standalone portal that we have to log into separately. And so we need to set notification thresholds and determine kind of moving forward how we want to manage this. So do we have our reps in there, constantly throughout the day and we're sending out daily notifications? Are we sending out notifications every couple days? How are we going to manage this? And I think it has to do with, really getting in here, setting the thresholds and seeing what the volume is, and how frequently we can address those.
Do you have just some base standard right now that's set for all customers? So you will get some kind of a report, could you do a daily report of those who have whatever that threshold has been crossed? I mean, are you using that right now, or is it not set up for your side?
We're building the dashboard right now. We're setting thresholds in there, but they should mimic any thresholds that we have built within our centric side of the system, because we want to keep consistency. We don't want to have certain spike usage or reverse flow or abnormal consumption thresholds set on the centric side that may mobilize operations.
Okay, so you guys do get a notice of some kind, just right now it's not necessary.
Right, so we do receive notifications through Centrix right now, so it's not that those things are not being addressed. It's just this is going to be an interface for customer service staff specifically to utilize to be able to use alternative methods other than simply mobilizing field staff to reach out to customers and give them a heads up that there could be something anomalous occurring at the property.
So you are
So-
being notified. That was kind of my question.
Right. So we're working, like I said, we're working on this and we're establishing kind of what is our process and procedure going to be moving forward for notification, because we want to make sure that we're both timely and effective, but that it's not going to be, we're not going to be inundated with, notifications, then we can't, notify customers in a timely fashion. But we right now, again, are building this, and we're almost on the cusp here of being able to log into the dashboard on a daily basis. At least I log in on a daily basis, but some of our customer service staff are able to see it as well. And so we have the ability to address this moving forward.
What would have to happen to cause a reverse flow notification?
As far as what would trigger it, well, we'd have to set a reverse flow criteria in order to receive something like that. But usually those types of notifications are handled within the Centric side, and Damon and Pat will typically mobilize their staff.
But that would only occur if you had a main water leak and you had to shut down water and the water ran down out of the house. and back
Or
into the system.
if there was a back siphonage or something happened on the customer side to try to draw water in. Oftentimes what we notice, because we get a lot of reverse flow alert, well, not a lot, but they have maybe, 10 a week. What we see is, meters are often in a manifold. So there's 2 meters that are off of one service lateral coming off a main. And what will happen is if there's somebody hammers the line, or if there's a water hammer even on the service line, you'll see this very minute just blip. It's not even actually any volume of water, but that will trigger a reverse flow. So those meters are set there's a low tolerance when it comes to a reverse flow, which is great, because it's very nominal whether or not there was water flowing in a reverse direction. Although we have seen that, we have alerted folks. So there are some sites that have to have backflow devices to prevent reverse flow.
Thank you for that.
So these are just some of the internal benefits for CCWD staff that kind of complement the customer side. And then obviously the element of outreach is something that we're focused on. So as we work to really kind of, bolster the CCWD side, and then obviously dial in the customer side, customer service staff and our external affairs manager will be working very closely to put together outreach materials for our customers that will not only provide information on how to, register and take advantage of these new features, but also, kind of reinvigorate our customers to register on the portal itself and provide maybe a little more insight on how to navigate it, how they can view the different consumption options on the graph. Obviously information on how to enroll in the various alerts. And then as I showed before, there are other contact preferences that customers can set up. And that includes e-billing, but they can also receive reminders from the portal, and that can be related to billing or if they have auto pay selected. So I think this is a great opportunity, not only for us to, provide outreach on the new elements, but also remind customers of the benefit of the portal in its entirety, not just the new options.
On your clerk dashboard, are you able to print a report that says we have X amount of customers signed up and they're using this feature, not that feature?
No, not currently. The dashboard more or less is to be used as like a more of like a desktop view of really if there's any meters that are not reporting, if there are anything that is outside of the norm as far as consumption is concerned. Again, those spike thresholds that are set, if there's notification campaigns that have gone out, because customers are signed up for alerts. We can see who's been notified and how they were notified. But I don't believe at this time there's anything in there that states, we have 8,000, customer portal enrollees, but only 2,000 have alerts toggled. I think, obviously that's something that we can work with Tyler on and see, because we're working with them on providing us with other analytics that we can utilize in order to, maximize enrollment in the portal. But that could be an element that we
That would
incorporate.
be some good information, so that way how many of these things you have to print out. If you have so many using it, maybe a different campaign,
Sure.
get, customers involved in something.
Sure.
A question. I personally would like to know if I could get both ways of billing, because I don't have as many customers as Russ now. But yeah, you beat me.
I didn't know there was a competition.
There is.
Okay.
You didn't know that?
And
I'd like to know just, for my own information.
Mhm.
So I'd like to get both ways.
Okay. We can certainly set that up.
Mhm.
So again, I know that we tend to, explain a lot about, benefits of moving in these directions to CCWD, operationally, and this will be a great, thing for our customer service representatives moving forward. But again, I think on the customer side, just allowing customers to take control of how information is shared with them through this portal is a great development, and really will hopefully in the long run end up eliminating or reducing, large customer bills due to, leaks that were running for an extended period of time and were not known. So great, hopefully monetary benefit, financial benefit, and water efficiency benefit as well to the customer.
And to, reduce the alarm of our customers, in my district, for example, during the winter, that's always critical.
Right. And, again, it just, I can't explain enough, for the needs of each customer is so unique. And I know that we share that, and everybody's consumption needs are different, and everybody's property size and home size is different. So there's a lot of, you can be more specialized in the system. The customer can go in there and set thresholds specific to them. That's huge, because we can set blanket thresholds on the district side for what we see on average for a residential or commercial or irrigation meter. But these are a lot more specific, and I think overall more effective. So we'll be obviously encouraging customers to set those up, and customer service reps are available to assist with that as well. Free for any other questions.
How does our customer number of connections now? What is it?
How many connections do we have in the system? Ooh, about 13,800.
Oh, so, okay. For
water.
Oh, just for water? Yeah, about.
5 and then.
I think we're a little bit higher than.
Wastewater customers.
Yeah.
But most of those are also water customers. So in terms of actual unique customers, we're right around 16,000, 14,000.
I would think that as soon as we get our new website, that'll grow very fast. So, right?
The number of customers.
The customers will
They're
just be.
moving to Calaveras County because of our new portal.
That's
Yeah.
part of it. I think it's that.
We had better internet, for sure.
We want to be with those people.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, any other
Yeah.
questions? Any other comments? Are you gonna, Scott,
What's that?
Timing.
timing?
Oh,
Your success criteria would be helpful to know from our perspective. You've spent quite a bit of money and energy to get this little baby up and running in January, and you've kind of briefly touched on it, but hard and fast numbers and dates really work well for me. So if we've identified a potential 13,323 customers, how many of them using this customer portal would you consider to qualify as resounding success? Or you know what, a lot of money for nothing because nobody's
Do
using
you
it.
want the answer to that? I mean, the
No, I
answer
want
is
a
if
target.
none of them use it, it's still a huge success as far as measuring water and where it's going between what's produced and what's used. That's
No,
the answer to
it's not-
those.
It's not.
That's the
because
answer to the valves. I mean, putting in
I'm
new
told that,
meters.
I'm told that those numbers are not necessarily the same, that you're still trying to figure out how to get them to be equal.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it, that's
we
it.
don't,
The
we don't have
huge
a
step in that
specific
process.
target in terms of people using the customer portal, because, I don't know that we've identified what is optimal for the district, but why? I mean, some customers don't want it, some customers don't have the
Right.
technical.
Don't have
capability to
access.
it.
Do we pay for
There's
the
so many
portal?
variables in whether or not they can even get to it or they want to use it.
Exactly. So
we are
all of those
expecting-
things, I would think would be factors in your deciding to invest very scarce money on things that may not get used.
I don't know why,
That's-
I don't know why you
we'll
think that you've
monitor
been told
this.
that over and over again that.
Well, I just want to hear it
customer
in
portal-
public that this
You've
is,
heard it before 2 or 3 times and you
That-
keep bringing the same thing back to. ask
what
me
is
the
it that I'm
question.
bringing up again? That the money is
The
being,
value of new meters.
no, not the value of new meters.
The meters, with the meters came this almost for free. This is just a bonus. In addition to this, we have new meters that measure more accurately and provide better data on where our treated water is going.
There is some additional cost to this. It's not a huge financial impact to the district. A lot of customers have been clamoring for it, so I don't think there was going to be a lack of interest or a lack of use of it, but I have no expectation that all or even 80% of our customers are going to use it. There's going to be a significant portion of customers that just want paper bills and they want to come down here and pay the check by paper like they've always done. We still have all of those options available, but I don't think there's, if we get a year into this and we have very little interest and there's very little benefit out of this component of the project, then, we can reevaluate at that point. But I don't have a specific number in mind in terms of exactly what is a success of the customer portal being available to customers.
I think that's the point.
Exactly.
That's the point I keep hammering is that you all head off in a direction and it seems like the pre-decision analyses of what factors ought to be given some weight or priority or consideration don't come into a big play. I mean, I can intellectually think, yes, this new Streamline thing has the potential to do great things. But if I don't lay out how I'm going to use it, how we're going to use it, what we expect to see differently, we may blow $14,000 for another no good thing. Or
that's not how we're operating, and we do have expectations on how it's going to operate. You asked for a specific number of how do we define success in the customer portal. I don't think that's the measure of success. So we will continue to evaluate how this plays out once we start to really ramp up outreach and educate customers about it. Like I said, if we get to a point where there's no customer interest, the customers that are using it aren't finding value in it, then we'll have obviously an ongoing opportunity to reevaluate.
My question would be, how much does the portal cost? And so if we have 14,000 customers, only 2,000 are using it, what is that cost per customer who use it? And is there value in that?
Yeah.
That's what I think we're looking for to determine if we can make a decision on if it's a good thing.
That's what you just said.
But he has to come up with that
No,
that
we
customer
know what
amount,
the
yeah,
cost
but
is, and
that's
we can
okay.
break it down per customer based on usage once we have the customer enrollment numbers.
It's $8 a month.
But look, we just witnessed a project get approved because it doesn't affect the budget. Okay, right? You don't have, you're gonna move money around to pay for it, right? So that's a totally different criteria than it stands on its own business case. It's gonna save X amount of dollars over X amount of time for these reasons. It's gonna provide X amount of functionality for these groups, these stakeholders for these reasons. That level of analysis is not being done. Okay.
Previous
And that's-
project that we just approved, by the way, is most likely going to be provide more money to with if you listen to the presentation, the signature,
I saw that.
that we pay for probably is going away. ADP, another big chunk, is probably going away. We're probably, by this time next year, we'll be able to report back that most likely those other two things that this software will, and our new website will be able to handle for us. We'll be able to cancel a couple of the contracts and it would be positive. I don't know why you keep hammering on this customer portal. There's a lot of people who want this and would like to have it, and you'll probably use it yourself and might even find some value in it. But you're going to come up here and complain over the process and the procedures that we went through to get
Well,
it
here's
on
the deal.
almost every single thing.
Wait a
That's
minute.
not-
Wait.
I've already demonstrated that the system that you use to bill does not agree with the system you tell me I use. Kelly's aware of that, okay? Kelly's aware that she has found that there's a gap. There's a functional gap between the systems, okay? If you don't want that kind of input, that's fine, but that costs you money if it's not billing. I didn't know that you have two different data feeds to support the billing system and to support the customer portal, and there is no handshake, okay? I went 2 weeks on my consumption with 0 usage. I got my bill. The bill includes all of that period. So my question was, did I get billed for that? Or what she tells me I got billed for all the water I use because it's a different data source. I didn't know that.
I think
Francisco, I'm willing to forgive the fact that we've gone 6 minutes on this discussion because Michael was interacting with you and Scott was interacting with you. But with all due respect, we need to keep the comments to 3 minutes.
I'll abide by that, but I expect answers, not little dancing around stuff with, well, we'll get to it, or we're working on that, or, that's a good idea, or, we've been at this very thing for 9 months now.
I want to stop this discussion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kelly, we had quite a few people on the portal, right? Like,
We do have quite a few people on the portal but that again, in talks in external relations committee, that's part of the partnership with Tyler is presenting them with, ideas and maybe challenges that we're facing specific to our district that actually may be more global than we think it to be. And Tyler needs a little, push every now and then. That's part of software development. They do production passes, and they can make updates and they can provide us with specifics, if we reach out and work with them on that. So that communication is constant. And I'm not saying that everything we ask them to do, they're going to be able to produce, but it doesn't hurt to ask. And if they're able to provide us with something, whether it be, more analytics where we can evaluate, how effective this portal is, we're still in the infancy of introducing this to the customers. We have not even rolled out with a full-blown outreach program yet. And so really, I don't think that we can prematurely say that we would like to see some sort of output because I don't think we've realized really the true benefit of the port, or we've built it up to what it could be yet. We're almost there. And again, I recognize that there's no specific dates. And I can tell you that there are multiple projects that are happening right now in admin services and in customer service. And this is one of them. And we're trying to move them forward as quickly as we can. And so again, I hope I've been transparent enough in asking, customers for their understanding as we really develop this and make this a useful tool over time.
Thank you, Kelly. Go ahead, jump in.
Just a couple of things. I appreciate this. It has been a process. But I think, we keep going back to, why we made this investment. I mean, we have people that used to read meters that now are doing other important things. I mean, as the technology came about, I believe we're ahead of the curve regionally on this item, and we're going to provide information for people who want it much better than most other local agencies, pretty much every other local agency in the surrounding area that I'm aware of. The problem with measuring everything is you can't measure everything. First of all, you'd have to know the demographics of our county so specifically our county, for the most part, our property owners are primarily 70-year-old people that may or may not have the ability to, or even the desire to get into this. They may be old school, but I see this maybe starting slow, but as the generations change and people come with, learn more about technology and the ability and the comfort of using it or sharing their information, things like that, it will grow. So I don't need a number to call, giving our public better transparency. I don't need a number to do that. I don't need to have a percentage. I don't need to have a percentage of the 70-year-olds. What I would like is for us to, and I thought about this earlier, is like, is there the ability to have, instructional, even if it's online video that we can, or maybe even invite people to come down and make sure our Wi-Fi is on, bring your laptop. We're going to show you how to use this thing. Can we do that sort of thing? Certainly we could do a tutorial, but that's not necessarily going to take care of the people that have technological disadvantages,
Right.
or the interest. But, the value to the vacation property owners in our county, it's tremendous. They have the ability to come in or to not go, to be in their home in the Bay Area or wherever and monitor their water, and particularly in the snow. That's a huge value. I don't need to have a percentage of the people that are going to utilize that, but they will over time. I guarantee if they have a leak, they're going to use this, and then they'll start to talk to their friends about it. They'll realize it's a valuable tool. And it's a valuable tool for us because they'll be able to let us to respond, where maybe we couldn't before. There's a lot of value in this thing, so, and once again, we get harped on about not being transparent. Holy smokes. This is very transparent. This is a huge accomplishment by the district. It's going to get better. Nothing starts off perfectly. And once again, I talk about the technology changes. Things change so fast these days, but our population is old and they may not get it yet.
You got something against old?
No. If soon as you move, the whole thing goes down 5 years, the median or whatever. But I'm just saying, I'm excited about this. I think it's a valuable tool for people, and it's one of those things that's going to take some time to get people to on board, and we should work hard to offer training. But I would expect it to be much different when the population shifts a little bit. When we get younger people that are more technologically comfortable, these things will be, and we'll be ahead of it. So I'm very thankful for all the work you guys have done. I know it's been a monumental task. It's not over, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and just to address your question on the outreach, we are going to develop those tools there. We've talked a lot about it already. We're kind of waiting to do a more aggressive customer outreach effort until we have some of, we make sure that it's working the way we want it to be working, and we've ironed everything out. And so I think the way we've described it is sort of a soft rollout for now, working through some issues still. Once we have it all dialed in, we're going to do a more aggressive customer outreach campaign. I don't know if aggressive is the right word when we use customer outreach.
Robust.
Robust. Thank you.
There we
More
go.
robust customer outreach campaign.
Good job, Kelly.
Thank you.
Especially for some of us who were questioning for a long time about the wisdom of jumping out of Springbrook into Tyler and looking for justification, prove that it's going to be a beneficial thing. And I think you're getting close to doing that. So, and thanks for your comments too. That was good.
About you moving?
Yeah. Bertha, this is probably something that ought to be introduced up at the EPOC booth. And if you could devise a tutorial.
Yeah. Kelly's got that down, right? Right? Yeah. And GABA.
What's next? All right, what is next? Are you taking medicine or what? Okay, Looks like that we are to 5A General Manager Report.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Kelly and Kelly, for robust presentations today. Much appreciated. Try to roll through this quickly, but we have had a couple of committee meetings, external relations. Last week, man, it's all blending together. And finance committee last week.
Finance last week, external yesterday.
Yesterday.
Not that far.
I think I can remember something that far. But both, productive discussions at both of those meetings, and look, probably customer assistance programs, one we'll probably be bringing back to the full board before too long. We've got legal affairs coming up next week. I'm out next week. I'm going to try to call into that one. I'm not sure if I'll be able to or not, but we'll have it staffed. And we're working on the agenda packet for that right now. Not sure if we'll have materials in the packet or not, but we'll have some bills we want to report out on next week. And also Mia's update, we always look forward to. Attended along with John, the annual coordination meeting between the Forest Service, NCPA and us on Norfolk project, and all of the interrelations between the Forest Service and the Norfolk project. It's a very informative meeting. And interesting note from that meeting was just how, speaking of short staff, the Forest Service cannot keep road crew staff. They reported at last year's meeting, out of 5 positions, they had one half-time employee. This year they reported they made it up. They filled all 5 positions at one point, and now they're back down to 1 employee. So
And where is this? Forest Service.
Stanislaus National Forest. For this district. So don't expect early road openings is what the outcome of that discussion was. But then on the staff side, a lot of CIP preparation and budget preparation among the department heads. All of that will roll into our budget presentations coming up in the next couple of months, and we're onboarding Bailey to assist with that effort. We have a special engineering committee meetings scheduled for April 9th, I believe it is, where we will walk through the proposed CIP for next fiscal year. We're also onboarding Landstead Consulting, that grant consultant that we've started working with, and have them prioritizing projects where we graded based on greatest need and priority. So working through that implementation process. We had also ad hoc property committee. There's been some discussion of that. And so that committee met last week, and really productive discussion. And I also appreciate Director Thomas and Director Adderman, not biting off more than we can chew. We're looking at different areas first and identifying properties that we want to come back and provide some information on. How do we maximize the use of our properties, and are there properties that we can that have surplus value that we aren't currently using? So I'm sure there'll be some reports back to the board on that probably in a few months as we work through that process. Also had a good meeting with Director Admin yesterday on risk management. Appreciate you making time for that. And his experience with not only insurance, but JPIA recently is proving to be very useful for us. And so it's nice to revisit our coverage and make sure we're doing what we need to be doing. We've had some very good discussions with Tyler lately. The finance module kickoff is underway. That's going to allow us to finally optimize the utility billing side of things, but also get the implementation for the finance module and then the HR modules in place. I'm really excited about how that is all going to function and perform once we've got it all implemented. So progress on that, and we'll be reporting back to the board on that as it moves forward. I've covered the committee meetings. The Aqua's annual legislative symposium is April 10th, which is also our next regularly scheduled board meeting. So I think at this point, we're probably planning on, and I'll let President Thomas make this decision, but I think we're probably leaning towards canceling the April 10th meeting. If there is a time sensitive agenda item, we may just need to schedule a special meeting instead. But I think at this point, we can make it to the second meeting in April. But we'll send out information if we do need to schedule a special meeting. And then I just want to thank the City of Angels Camp and Senator Alvarado Gil. They both, we have, as we seem to every year now, have federal budget appropriations requests. The appropriations forms were due or are coming up. I think they're due on Friday, but all that has to be, laid out in advance. Me has been a huge help on that front, along with our engineering staff in preparing the documents for those appropriations requests. But you also have to show local support from local elected officials, and the City of Angels Camp, since the Copperopolis is unincorporated, where our project is, and a mayor is on the checklist of the letters of support that they want to see. Angels Camp is always willing to accommodate that. So I really appreciate their support in our budget request, along with Senator Alvarado Gil, who's supported us consistently on this project as well. So we'll be sending some thank you cards to them for their letters of support. I should also note, at the very beginning of the meeting, we pulled this support letter for the county's project. That was not because we don't support the county or don't support that project in particular. It was because the county has decided to withdraw that project from a budget appropriation request for this year. That happened in between when the packet went out and today. So it's not a lack of support for the county trying to bring in resources for workforce housing. I didn't want it to be misinterpreted as that. We certainly support the county's efforts on that front. It's a significant project if it were to move forward, 59 units in San Andreas. And so we were wanting to offer support for their appropriations request. While they're obviously going to have to work with the San Andreas utilities on the project specific stuff.
I was gonna say, is there capacity at the San Andreas treatment plant?
Yeah, that stuff would all have to be worked out as the project moves forward, but I think they still had some other project development issues pending, and so they decided to pull the appropriations request for this year. So that's why we pulled our letter. It wasn't a lack of support for the county. Yes.
Was that the one, is it taking the place of the one that they were gonna build in Angels Camp?
Yeah.
Or is that still going?
No, I think that's a Habitat for Humanity project in Angels.
Oh,
and that
okay.
should still be
Oh, all
moving
right.
forward.
Not-
They've got some infrastructure issues in order to accommodate that one
okay.
as well. The city's been really proactive about
Okay.
that, so.
Cause that was equally as big as this one.
Yeah, it's a
Uh-huh.
huge one for Angels
Uh-huh.
Camp. So yeah, we have, that these things ebb and flow over time and with turnover at the different local agencies that we have. But, right now there's a lot of coordination, a lot of communication among the local agencies supporting each other, trying to get funding requests in. And, I think we have a good group of local agency leaders right now that recognize that supporting each other is
Well-
everybody's interest. So.
More than just supporting them. I mean, like this, in regards to the workforce housing, I was just I had a conversation with Kathy at the Economic Development, but so many times they pick these spots that may not have the infrastructure necessary. And I really wish that they would consult with us first and at least maybe get a hotspot area of actual places that have capacity that we can hook them up. Instead of paying for the infrastructure, you can actually build the damn houses.
Yeah, and this is actually something we can agendize and bring back, because there is a housing development partnership that the county is facilitating, and part of it is utilities. So we participate in that. Kevin Williams has been to many of those meetings on our behalf. We participate in that, and part of that is developing that institutional knowledge at the county of, hey, if you have developers or opportunities to pursue funding for these projects, where does the infrastructure exist already to accommodate it?
Exactly.
Because that could kill a project.
Not just the infrastructure. I mean, they're doing a zoning amendment there too, which just cracked me up. It's just like, you just went through a general plan. You've got all sorts of R3 properties throughout the county. Much of it has, you know, adequate water and sewer capacity. Why aren't we going there first?
Yeah, and so that was, our first question when they asked us for a letter of support was we don't serve that property. And so make sure you're working with those local utilities. We could also assist with that discussion, facilitate that discussion, but from our perspective, the reason we wanted to bring that to the board was just to consider as a general effort of bringing in resources to find ways to provide workforce housing.
Listen, I support all that. I'm just saying we need to be on the front end of this thing. Actually, supporting, helping them find projects that can actually get accomplished.
Yep, absolutely.
In your discussion with Kathy Galino, was there some question about the buildability, about the suitability of the terrain there?
I didn't, it was not specific to this issue. It was more about the ADU units.
Yeah.
It wasn't specific to this, but it ventured off a little bit, but wasn't specific to that project.
All right. So, Michael, you said that it would be up to me whether we cancel this April 10th. I think that I will be going to that legislative symposium. It's from 1 to 7 on the 10th, Sacramento. Anybody else
I'll be attending as well.
will be attending? So you'd be doing if you had a meeting, it'd be 3 people only here. You want to go?
Yeah, so unless, like I said, if there's something time sensitive, we may need to schedule a special meeting to accommodate that, but for the most part, we should be able to make it to April, the second meeting in April.
What about the CAP program that we're talking about in finance? Is that still gonna go back to finance?
I think we'll
One more time?
probably bring draft policy revisions back to
Okay.
first. Yeah.
So that won't be affected.
While we're on the subject of conflicts for meetings, there's also the Aqua Conference in
May.
May the 8th would be a regular CCWD meeting, so keep that in mind also. for
Yeah, that one
agendas.
will probably have to move off of the May 8th date.
Oh, right.
Okay, all right. Does that conclude your report? All right, the next item on the agenda is closed sessions. We have 2 items. Any public comment?
Journey.
Oh, board report. Oh, crap. No, you guys have talked enough.
No, we're through.
Bertha, starting down there, what do you have to say?
No, I asked Scott.
Okay, yeah, I will be
Look.
attending.
Look what he has.
Thank you for giving me your time. I'll use it. April 10th in Sacramento is the Aqua Legislative Symposium that Michael and Russ just spoke about. I'll be attending that as well. Mountain Counties is also for the first time having their own legislative symposium, which is May 15th in Sacramento. If anyone would like to save a date on your calendar. Talk about Mountain Counties, they're also having their Columbia reception on April 4th. It's a Thursday night in Columbia. Attending that will be Congressman McClintock, Senator Marie Alvaro Gill, and Assemblyman Joe Patterson. It's going to be a lively group, and unfortunately, our general manager won't be able to make it. Hopefully, we'll get a couple other people in the room. Thanks, Kelly and John, to go in there also. And then legal affairs, which Michael already mentioned, is next week. I did bring up a future agenda item on updating our policy on ADUs. Just reminded me that Jeff just brought that up at our last Aqua and local government. We had a recommendation from the local government committee in Aqua that every district take a look at your current ADU policy. Things are coming down the line as far as other legislation that might affect that. And having a good, strong policy in place would be important.
We know ours is out of date. And so, but I think we're shooting for the engineering committee on that one, possibly not this special meeting since we're going to be focused on CIP update. But we'll bring that back to the engineering committee and then to the full board. But yeah, thank you for the reminder.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Director Davidson?
I have nothing more.
Director Cicada?
The special engineering committee meeting You know, I'm the alternate for that, and you're gonna be doing the 5-year CIP.
Yes,
Stuff with that. Can I attend in person, just not participate?
yes, you may.
Okay, thank you. It's a little bit easier on something like that. And I have nothing to report.
Okay, I have nothing to report either. So moving on to where I wanted to go. Closed sessions. We have 2 items. Any public comments on these 2 items? Nope. Okay, we are going to be adjourning this meeting pending the outcome of these closed sessions, and we'll be back to report.
Just watch.